All right, here we are back in the Texas Panhandle on 5/22, not long after the last chase. This time, though, a little bit further from Amarillo and a little bit bigger of an event. I was able to chase with some more of the people that I chased with before.
We're game here. Already see significant lowering. Oh yeah, look at that. Highlands chasing dirt roads. Adrenaline rush.
Words. So I didn't mention the last video, but this set of chases that I did was the first time that I had used the mount for my phone to be able to document in a higher quality than I had in some of my past chases using just the iPad.
All right, we're chasing with Andy Hill and his crew and Cameron Straley. Chased with him before. We're trying to get out ahead of this storm. It's in a kind of in the middle of a diagonal line of supercells developing. It produced a little funnel earlier, but it didn't hold on. Got a lot more wind here than we were expecting, so it's a wild card day.
Now, something that I like to include in my videos, though maybe need to do some more work on, is information and documentation on decision making, because that is a major part of storm chasing.
We've got this weird northeasterly moving cell among a line of cells that are otherwise moving southeast.
And that's one example of the wild card factors that came into play on this day. And so on this chase, unfortunately, not to be a spoiler yet again, but we didn't get any official tornadoes. We just got a lot of structure. But from this view on the time lapse, it takes a little bit before we end up seeing some really interesting stuff like this right here. When you speed up this fast, you can really see what these cells do and what their nature is like. Like this little sad one that unfortunately never did much, but looked pretty interesting until it dissolved away like you see there. Had a couple more cells like that, same kind of appearance later on. Now eventually we split from Andy Hill's crew. We decided to chase a cell that was back here, more in the direction of where we had been chasing earlier that day, near Howardwick, Texas. This one we had kept our eyes on for about 30 minutes before we decided to go back and chase it. And to an extent, it paid off.
All right, next opportunity I get, I'm gonna take a right. Assuming it's a road that I feel comfortable driving on. There you go. Now you can see it. Real chance.
And here is a view of that mothership supercell a little bit later. Stacked plates. On time-lapse, you could see some of why I thought this thing was going to do something interesting. But with time, my confidence fell, unfortunately. It continued to look amazing, and even knowing that it didn't produce, it still is one of the highlights of the chase. But if it had produced, this thing would have been a major highlight. At that time, it was about 2.3 miles away to the center of the circulation, at least as well as could be resolved on radar. You can see it's a little bit low resolution where we were there. And at this time, it was pretty clear that it wasn't going to be doing anything that special. However, if you look, you can see a couple points where it produces some funnel clouds. Don't know if we have something right there, but it's looking creepy. It's creepy out here. Very, very certain we were at this point that it wasn't going to be dropping a tornado. But it honestly was really quite a sight to behold. And we ended up meeting a local.
It started meaning business on radar, and then it just never mind.
Oh, I'm going away. Well, it's not very big.
And it's still rotating a little bit.
Now, at this time, there was a couple cells that the team with Andy Hill had went to go chase, and they were starting to move southwards pretty directly in a manner that we could actually go chase. And one of them, pretty much the only tornado-warned storm of the day. The other one, next to it, as you can see, caught some good speed. Actually scared me and some other people, because at one point, had to move pretty fast southwards away from the storm to avoid getting cored by the large hail that was being reported on it. And as I had mentioned in the prior video, by this time I've gotten a real big appreciation for nighttime cloud-to-cloud lightning lit environments. Very aggravating chase right now. And so I kept on this storm for a while, knowing that it was pretty much guaranteed to not be any kind of tornadoes being produced on it. But some amazing photography, at least for my taste, that could be captured. And for as late as I had to stay out, some of this is why I'm glad that I did. If you've ever seen Independence Day and you've seen the alien ships that descend on Earth, this supercell had a similar appearance. Could imagine it preying on the towns just below it. The lightning intermittently illuminating its amazing appearance. Like this shot demonstrates right here. Obviously very grainy and very dark. Not exactly what you would call an award-winning photo, but personally, a very memorable one. I could just stare at it. But this right here, this one's the real winner of the day. For a day that didn't really produce any tornadoes or anything that interesting for anybody who's really wanted to see some twisters go down, this mothership supercell was at least worth the time that I went out chasing. More High Plains deception would come, however, and I would end up finding that High Plains tornado that I had been wanting so bad.